Right. Let's just settle into the breath. We're going to just inhale, exhale, and draw up around you 360 degrees a sphere of aurora borealis, liquid crystal light, connecting to the aurora crystal families. And just inhale, exhale, allow that aurora light of the aurora waters just to wash over through the body. This is the fastest way to override any inorganic technology, any artificial intelligence, any negative information that is engineered. And this completely contains your field. It runs a correction in that process as well, starts to recode. Allowing the higher God worlds to open here. And the 12 Roisha pillars or Rouge pillars begin to circulate and anchor down to the earth body. The anchor points on earth. And through these Roisha pillars, we've got diamond opal staircases building between the currents through the full 12. And they intercept and connect overhead in one, in like the central point. And this is presenting as a tree of life. And through this connection of the Roisha pillars, blending in to the one connective point, from that connective point in the center, we have Elysian fields build as quadrant butterfly wings in opalescent hue of omni love circulating and building out throughout the 12 dimensional layers. Kia karana atia mora mo topohia gorashna kia kracheneya atia. Just allow the Elysian fields to reverberate through the 12 Rouge pillars, interception through the 12 dimensions of matter, Mother connecting to father. Father runs through the Rusha pillars. The Elasian fields are the mother frequency. So this is coming as a mother arc, building as a geometric template of Hieros Gamos. Neokortiana Akiem. And just feel that pure bond between Divine Mother, Divine Father. Circulate outwards through and rebuilding a scalar wave template, reordering the codes, back towards union bond, updating hierogamic joins, cosmic convergence, expanding down through the Templar, and just allow yourself to experience the bliss, experience the frequency of Omni Love. As this repopulates through the awareness. Okay. To iakinia kia matapuriishnos ni okora. Surrendering. Ley lines. Glow gold. And expand across the globe. And the reverberation of these hierogamic sequence codes expand through the gold convergence of ley lines. Lifting out layers of separation. And particularly focusing in here on the Albion ley line. And when we're coming into the Albion ley line, what I'm seeing here is this huge ruby wave wash down through the whole line, wash through your own energy field, and begin to restore the ruby ray. deep heart pain, unlocking here, revealing separation trauma within the heart. And this is the separation between the beloveds. And what I'm picking up within this area is actually running through the 11th Stargate here, which is the I can't even spell, Stonehenge Gate. Okay, so as we become very aware of the Elasian fields running through the Rusha pillars and bridging a hierogamic code sequence through the 11th Stargate and the Albion ley line, this begins to update the Stargate infrastructure. And what I'm kind of seeing here is a set of kind of technology and machinery that is looking like a reversed spiral. And as I'm kind of connecting into it, or trying not to connect into it really, but observing it, the information is just spinning and distorting backwards. And this is creating rips and separation between masculine, feminine currents. This is a Nephilim reversal grid, which is actually on its way out. It's dismantling and on its way out. But within that, there is high levels of misogyny, high levels of kind of sexual misery programming, and the inequality treatment towards women. Okay, so as these codes are coming in, these hierogamic union codes are coming in, this begins to resequence the technology, or not really the technology, but the light fields where it was kind of producing and resequencing the light fields to run in a different sequence, if that makes sense. Now, surrounding that, there's a myriad of kind of archonic information and black goo technology, black goo like substances that we're just going to work with the Aurora crystal rivers to override the artificial tech. And you're also going to start feeling this come through the root and sacral chakra of your own individual systems. Because this is primarily the target point of that, is to kind of distort the instinctual mind. And this will be expanded through our own experiences that we've had with parents growing up, that we've had with our first relationships, with our kind of peers, our colleagues at work or at school, all of these different areas. The exchange of information will cloudy through the sacral chakra, through the second dimension. With the aurora, we're just going to completely disintegrate that, allowing all of the reversal coding to dissolve. Okay, so with this resequencing, the emotional purge of betrayal, abuse, a whole load of nastiness, to be honest, that you can kind of pinpoint a name for yourself, because I think everyone's experience is going to be kind of unique here. But through the identification, this starts to delineate the frequency and separate what's not you from what is you. To o kia karachinia mo te pria sa no okora. Allowing the pain and suffering just to detach, or the confusion and the amnesia to unlock through the crown and through the perceptions. And we're just going to take this up, up, up out of the body and just face it in front of you and work with your violet flame. And we're just going to bring that down, round, and spin it all the way through the trauma held within that grid, especially throughout your own memories, which have been impacting you. You may actually start to feel quite tight pain through the heart as well here, as this is unlocking and releasing. Because the cloud is actually quite thick and quite substantial. So we want to just make sure that we're not taking on any of this information out with us afterwards. We want to kind of observe it, see it, and say goodbye to it. Because it's very much a healing for the planet as well as it is for you within this situation. Now, pain release. Okay. So with this starting to open now, we're going to just start seeing all of this ruby waveforms, ruby diamond light coming in and beginning to restore the second dimensional layer personally, the first dimensional layer personally, and the third. But as we build this light and accrue this light, we're going to start to see this build through the seating at the second dimensional layer. So seating within the sacral, a rod, a ruby rod. And as this builds and accrues, we've got this whole ruby diamond crystal cathedral building all around you at the same time. And within that, there are multiple codes that are intercepting within your personal light body, which is an exchange of your own information held and stored within these records, transitioning back into your energy system. And this can feel a little bit uncomfortable at the best of times. So we're just going to breathe deep with it and just surrender. because this actually holds the corrections to the reversals, the hybridization reversals, and your own memories of the Celtic Druidic races, the Magi Grail kings. Allowing the download, geometric formats, reshape, reform. And this is really important for people that have experienced high levels of polarity, high levels of kind of narcissistic abuse patterning. This is really key for you guys because the history of the indigo type 3 and the Ruby Sun DNA template, they are built with um, a partial Nephilim, reptilian structure built within their DNA. And this is because they've also got a light part to it and a dark part. So that is then reflected through the abusers within your lives, basically. So this will be a reflection of that DNA template. And what happens within that is through the understanding of the role of the indigo type 3 or the ruby sun is to realign the reptilian back into light. And that can be a very challenging, painful experience that causes many a layer of discomfort and distortion. Um, but through understanding this, it actually accelerates the process to reintegrate. Let's bring all that light back in and just start to recode the histories to be able to see the experiences in a very different light. And this is actually an organic process that happens to override these reptilian currents and to move to reintegrate them. No bringing in the current of peace, the Manjushri, stabilize the frequency of the Buddhic mind. Ultimately, to find peace between the polarities. Run that current down through the 11th Stargate. We're also going to just intercept this through Eye Island in Era and St. Ives Bay in Cornwall. We're also going to take this into Nibiru and into the Avion Gate in Lyra as well. So all of these run an 11th dimensional Stargate field or connection even. Re-sequencing the Buddhic mind. And we're going to take that down into the personality, into the ruby rod, and run that across the horizontal over body, which feels lovely, nice and light. Let's just surrender into that state of peace and just take a couple of moments there, just really feeling the Buddhic mind, feeling the peace. Ia kora te ama aki a kura nei, ia kora cha aki, kia ma mo o hora ta ai. Tiana o kora shna ki ama, ma o tiana e hi. What would it feel like to have peace between these two polarities? What would it feel like to have peace in your mind? I think this is a really core question for when we have those moments where it feels like we're having a battle within our own minds. Maybe this is within our own genetic templates that we've experienced growing up, but really that is a manifestation of our memories. Let's relay the question, wouldn't it be nice? Or how can we come to some kind of agreement of peace? And immediately the imagery of King Arthur and the Round Table appears, and we have a meeting of minds coming together to find solutions to war, to find solutions to the internal fight. And this information is then being projected as writing through the hologram. It's an antidote, so to speak. And as we sit with the writing, sit with the coding, we can then start to hear and think our way through to solution. As the information reverberates, changes, and shifts the landscape, it changes the whole infrastructure of the templating, of the manifestations, and of the dynamics. And as you move through the layers of polarity, the layers of opposition, the oppositional consciousness finds a way to come back into oneness with each other. They find ways to come back into communication, to return to solution. And this is the New Year's resolution to find the resolution and the solutions for peace. Okay. So I'm just being called to just move on up out of the time matrix that we're in, and we're just going to head on up to the God worlds, and we're going to go and sit with the solar dragons now. So moving up through the Roisha pillars, extending up through the omnitonal light, and extending to the solar dragon kings and queens. Allow yourself just to feel into that level of mastery, that level of creation. Inhale, exhale. Allow the bliss to move in. And what I'm kind of seeing with this is a transition of diamond emerald codes, if that makes sense. So they're in the shape of a kind of diamond, but they're actually emeralds, and just transiting into the bodies here. And as those move in, I'm seeing this kind of like as fractal memories of the Emerald Order within the agreements of rehabilitation, the agreements of bioregenesis, and the station plans to update and correct the distortion levels on the Earth and of genetics. So as we're kind of within this realm and observing the emerald codes coming in, what this memory is kind of triggering is a rehabilitation of the bioregenesis program, and it is bringing in bioregenocide. I don't even know how to say that. I'm not even going to try and say this, but like a kind of a renewal of the original DNA template from where it had kind of run into distortion. This is holding a correction of that, but not just through the lower DNA template, it's actually coming up into the higher ones as well. So when the damage on the lower Earth had happened, this is then rehabilitating the higher realms. So let's just allow that to take place. Repairing bioelectric circuitry, the Emerald Heart, stabilizing Ruby order currents, original Ruby order records, downloading Emerald order records, and synchronizing up through the channels, making its way back down through the Reuscher pillars into the Earth body, connecting to the crystal Emerald Heart networks of the planetary field, and synchronizing up to one's own personal crystal Emerald Heart in the physical form. So you down here, basically. Tayo chiamato pure essere okura. Okay, this has triggered up a whole pile of anxiety and deep fear. Just going to surrender into the processing of this, just allow all of the tightness just to unlock above the head through the higher crown of the 10th chakra. That which is impacting the central nervous system and the blueprint of that fourth dimensional astral body. To resequence the heart field, the fourth body, the fourth field, emerald flame, emerald solar dragon, sequencing up to the ruby sun DNA. So the emerald solar dragon to ruby sun DNA, which is a 9 to 11 strand. Inhale, exhale, surrendering, creating the pathways and passages mixed with the records and information of the ruby sun to its highest potential, which is a 48 strand ultimately. They kind of they're both a part of each other, apart from the emerald is the mother frequency and the ruby is the father frequency. Surrendering. And through the surrender process and the reconnection of light channels, information, and updating of the template, I'm just seeing all of this black smoke mushroom cloud coming up off the 9 to 11 strand digressive ruby sun, or the areas where it had been kind of corrupted, purging black smoke entities, basically. This could present as a complete distrust in yourself, distrust in whatever you're doing, as an attempt to derail you from finding your highest light, your highest potential, and your way back home. So this has effectively been kind of overridden over the past month, but now really kind of dialing up the um, the way back home. Okay, so within the reptilian layers of this, the light has just come in really brightly and really strong. We've got parts of it that are in quite strong fear of the light as it's coming in, but it's acting as the bridge or a choice point to move in to realignment with the Emerald Order, with the Law of One, which is ultimately going to lead to um, ultimate fulfillment. Knowing now the end goal, the pain that's being processed through doesn't really have an anchor point, doesn't have anywhere to kind of sit. So I think what we can do is say goodbye to that and thank you for the lessons of separation. Thank you for the teaching of separation to find unification with God, unification with oneness, and unification with all. And just find yourself stepping out of the ruby diamond cathedral there, and the information of the ruby rod illuminating into more richer rod tones, richer ruby tones, which creates an update throughout the seventh dimensional field, the seventh body, and also the 15th, restoring the triple ruby rod. Also restoring the cosmic father principle. And this is, again, it's not something that is done overnight. To download the cosmic father principle, it's takes some time just to understand it. But the more you understand and the more you integrate, the faster it kind of realigns and you become a lot more strong in yourself to yeah, hold your divine masculine, your divine father within. So on that note, we're going to update through all fields. We're going to update through all localized grids. I'm going to wish you a very, very, very happy new year and lots of love to you all. Thank you all so much for joining today. Come back when you're ready.